Hey man, there's a truth about women that most men will never see until it's too late. Innocence can be an act, and often it's the most dangerous mask she wears. A woman who knows how to weaponize her vulnerability can bend men to her will without ever raising her voice, without ever making a direct demand. She doesn't need to be aggressive, she doesn't need to be dominant, she only needs to look helpless. She'll tilt her head, soften her voice, widen her eyes, and suddenly, every instinct inside you as a man kicks in. You feel the urge to step in, to protect, to provide, to defend. But here's the dark truth, brother. Many times this innocence isn't real. It's calculated. It's a performance designed to make you feel like the hero in her story, while she quietly pulls the strings of control. This manipulation works because men are wired to protect. For generations, our instincts have been shaped to defend women and children. And there's nothing wrong with that instinct. It's one of the most noble parts of masculinity. But when a woman learns to exploit it, she gains power over you without lifting a finger. Think about it. When she pretends she can't handle something, who steps in to fix it? You. When she acts like the world is too heavy, who carries it for her? You. When she claims she doesn't understand, who explains and takes responsibility? You. Bit by bit, she conditions you to see her as fragile, even when she's fully capable. And while you're breaking your back trying to protect her, she's sitting in the comfort of knowing she can get what she wants without ever asking for it directly. The most dangerous part of this innocence act is that it hides her accountability. If she plays helpless, she never has to own her mistakes. If she pretends she didn't know what she was doing, she can't be held responsible. If she acts fragile, she gets sympathy instead of consequences. And men, blinded by the urge to protect, often become the ones defending her, even when she's in the wrong. Have you ever noticed how some women can create chaos, stir conflict, or even betray you and then cry, pout, or shrink into silence until you forget what she did? That's not weakness, brother. That's strategy. She's not innocent. She's manipulating your protective instinct to shield herself from accountability. It gets darker because once she knows this tactic works on you, she will use it everywhere. She'll play innocent in public to make you defend her against others. She'll play innocent in private to make you forgive her betrayals. She'll play innocent in arguments to make you drop your guard. And while you're protecting her, you're not protecting yourself. That's the trade-off. The more energy you spend shielding her from consequences, the less you have to shield yourself from manipulation. And that's why so many men wake up years later realizing they've been drained, used, and discarded, all while believing they were doing the noble thing by protecting her. Innocence was never her reality, it was her weapon. Brother, you must learn to see the difference between genuine vulnerability and strategic helplessness. Genuine vulnerability inspires respect. It makes you want to protect because you see authenticity. But strategic helplessness feels rehearsed. It shows up whenever she wants something, whenever she's caught, whenever she's losing ground. And if you look closely, you'll notice the pattern. Her innocence only appears when it benefits her. That's the dark truth. A woman who truly values you will stand beside you, not hide behind you. She won't use innocence as a shield against accountability. She'll use strength to match your loyalty. But the dangerous woman, she'll keep playing innocent, not because she needs you, but because she knows you'll destroy yourself, trying to protect someone who was never truly at risk. The act of innocence is not always about words, it's about timing. Notice how a woman who plays this game never acts helpless when it doesn't serve her. She's strong enough to argue with you, confident enough to demand when she wants something, bold enough to challenge you when she feels like it. But suddenly, when accountability shows up at the door, she becomes fragile. Her voice softens, her tone cracks, tears appear almost instantly, and suddenly you feel like the bad guy just for holding her accountable. This is the brilliance of the act. She can be as fierce as she wants when it benefits her, but the moment her behavior should carry consequences, she transforms into a wide-eyed innocent who didn't know any better. And many men fall for this switch every single time. The worst part is that society enables this behavior. Women are often rewarded for appearing innocent, while men are punished for questioning it. If you call her out on the act, you're accused of being harsh, cold, or even abusive. If you walk away when she plays fragile, you're seen as heartless. If you hold her accountable, you're told you're too hard on her. But here's the truth. Innocence should not be a free pass. Playing small to escape consequences is not weakness, it's manipulation, and the fact that society often takes her side makes this game even more effective. She knows she has the culture's sympathy, so she uses it as armor while you're left bleeding. What makes this tactic so dangerous is the way it rewires your instincts. Over time, you begin to feel guilty for expecting anything from her. You stop demanding accountability because you don't want to hurt her feelings. You stop enforcing boundaries because you don't want to look like the villain. Slowly, you begin to police yourself. You bend, you compromise, you silence your own needs because her innocence has become a constant excuse. This is the real trap, not just that she manipulates you, but that she trains you to manipulate yourself. Once you start lowering your standards to protect her image of helplessness, you're no longer in a relationship, you're in servitude. Brother, you must understand, innocence is not weakness when it's used as a weapon, it's power. Power that turns your masculinity into her shield. Power that convinces you to fight battles that aren't yours. Power that makes you carry guilt that isn't yours. And once she has that power, she never gives it back willingly. Because as long as you keep protecting her innocence, she never has to grow. She never has to change. She never has to face the truth about herself. You're doing all the heavy lifting while she sits comfortably behind the mask. And in that comfort, she doesn't respect you, she uses you. Here's the dark truth. Most men don't realize until they've been broken. The more you protect a woman who plays innocent, the less she respects you. She might thank you in the moment, she might act grateful, but deep down she knows she's pulling the strings, and respect cannot exist where manipulation lives. A woman cannot admire the man she can control, and once admiration dies, attraction follows. That's why so many men wake up one day, confused, wondering how they lost her passion, her affection, her loyalty. It wasn't lost. It was never real to begin with, because she was never in love with you. She was in love with the power she had over you. And once you gave it to her, she no longer had a reason to desire you. The most chilling part about a woman who plays innocent is how she can make you feel like a monster for simply holding her accountable. She'll act so fragile, so easily wounded, that you start second-guessing yourself. Am I being too harsh? Am I expecting too much? Maybe I'm the problem? That's the genius of her act. It doesn't just protect her from consequences, it turns you into your own judge and jury. You begin punishing yourself for even daring to demand honesty or effort from her. And once you're in that mindset, she no longer has to defend herself. You defend her by attacking your own standards. That's how she wins, brother. Not by overpowering you, but by convincing you that protecting her innocence is more important than protecting your own dignity. And here's where it gets darker. This act of innocence often shows up the strongest when she knows she's guilty. If she betrays you, she won't argue with logic. She'll crumble into tears. If she lies, she won't fight with facts. She'll tremble and say, I didn't mean to. If she manipulates, she won't own it. She'll look at you with soft eyes and whisper, you know I would never hurt you on purpose. And suddenly, you forget the betrayal and rush to comfort her. That's the play. She knows she can get away with anything as long as she can make you feel like a protector instead of a judge. And while you're busy wiping her tears, you don't realize she's wiping her hands clean of responsibility. Brother, you need to recognize that innocence can be one of the most powerful masks in female nature because it's almost impossible for men to resist. It doesn't trigger your defenses, it triggers your instincts. A man can defend against aggression, he can push back against disrespect, he can resist manipulation when it's obvious. But innocence slips past all of those defenses because it appeals to your noblest qualities, your desire to shield, to provide, to protect. And that's why it's so deadly, because it doesn't attack you head on. It comes wrapped in sweetness, softness, and vulnerability. And by the time you realize it's an act, you've already given too much, forgiven too much, and lost too much. What makes this game even more dangerous is that the innocent act often comes with an unspoken expectation that you will step in and fix what she refuses to face. She won't say, you need to solve this for me. She'll simply sigh, look defeated, act overwhelmed, and you will leap into action. You'll cover her bills, fight her battles, excuse her mistakes, defend her image, and each time you do, she learns that she doesn't need to change because you will always be the safety net. That's the cycle. She plays helpless, you play hero, and she walks away with both protection and power. And while you think you're building her up, what you're really doing is tearing yourself down. And here's the bitter truth, brother. Women who play innocent rarely stop because the world rewards them for it. Men protect them, society excuses them, and culture paints them as pure. Meanwhile, the men who fell for it are left exhausted, resentful, and broken. That's why you must train your eyes to see beyond the performance. Don't just watch what she says, watch what she does when no one is protecting her. Don't just listen to her helpless words. Observe whether she uses them only when accountability is close. Because true innocence doesn't appear and disappear depending on convenience. True innocence is consistent. But the dangerous woman? She puts it on and takes it off like a costume, and every time she does, another man loses a piece of himself in the process. The most dangerous part of her innocence act is that it creates an illusion of purity, and purity blinds men. When you believe she's innocent, you stop questioning her motives. You assume her intentions are clean, her mistakes are honest, and her words are genuine. But brother, purity can be a mask. It can be the cover story that hides a ruthless strategist underneath. Some of the most manipulative women will present themselves as the most harmless. They'll dress softly, speak gently, move carefully, because they know men lower their guard around women who appear delicate. And once your guard is down, once you've placed her in the category of safe, she can pull strings without resistance. That's why innocence is more dangerous than open manipulation, because it doesn't feel like a threat until you're already trapped. You'll notice that a woman who plays innocent rarely ever takes risks herself. She won't directly confront, she won't openly lead, she won't put herself in positions where accountability lands on her. Instead, she pushes you forward while she stays behind the shield of fragility. If conflict arises, you're the one fighting while she watches. If responsibility appears, you're the one carrying it while she sighs in relief. She orchestrates from the shadows, using your strength as her sword and your loyalty as her shield. And the entire time, she maintains the image of being the one who just doesn't want drama, or the one who never asked for this. But that's the lie. She didn't have to ask because she trained you to volunteer. Brother, innocence as a mask is not just manipulation, it's exploitation of your masculinity. Your instincts to protect, defend, and provide are some of the greatest strengths you possess. But when given to the wrong woman, those instincts become weapons used against you. She takes your protective nature and turns it into her safety net for bad decisions. She takes your forgiving heart and uses it to shield her from accountability. She takes your loyalty and uses it to keep you bound, even when you know she doesn't deserve it. That's how men lose decades of their lives, not to women who openly battle them, but to women who softly disarm them. Because when innocence is used as a weapon, you don't fight back, you surrender. And surrendering to a manipulator means you lose yourself one piece at a time. The truth is, the innocent act isn't just about her, it's about what it does to you. It weakens you. It conditions you to second-guess your instincts. Every time you feel anger, she makes you feel guilty for it. Every time you notice manipulation, she makes you question your sanity. Every time you stand up for yourself, she makes you believe you're being cruel. Slowly, you stop trusting your own judgment. And once a man no longer trusts his own judgment, he's easy to control. He looks to her for guidance, for permission, for validation. And at that point, he's not a leader anymore. He's a follower disguised as a protector. That's the end game of the Innocence Act, not just to protect her, but to break you. But here's the ultimate dark truth, brother. She doesn't even need to maintain the act forever. She only needs it long enough to secure your loyalty, long enough to make you emotionally invested, long enough to tie your identity to protecting her. Once you're hooked, once you've invested too much to walk away, she can drop the mask. By then, you're too deep. You've convinced yourself she's fragile, that without you she'd be lost, that leaving her would make you heartless. And so you stay, long after the innocence has faded, long after the manipulation is obvious, long after your peace has been destroyed. That's the cruelty of the game. Innocence was never real, but your loyalty to it was. And that's how she wins. The moment you begin to see through the mask is the moment she will intensify the act. If you call her out, she won't admit it. She'll double down. She'll cry harder. She'll shrink further. She'll make you feel like the villain for daring to question her purity. And that's the final trap. When you expose the game, she makes you feel like you're the manipulator. It's projection at its highest level. And if you're not steady in your frame, you'll backpedal, you'll apologize, and you'll once again wrap your arms around her innocence, protecting her from the very truth you just discovered. That's why so many men stay locked in this cycle for years. They see glimpses of the game, but every time they approach clarity, she drags them back into the fog with wide eyes and trembling lips. Brother, here's the harsh reality. Women who weaponize innocence don't actually want protection, they want control. Real innocence doesn't manipulate. Real fragility doesn't calculate. Real vulnerability is rare, but when you see it, you'll know, because it doesn't demand, it invites. A genuine woman who is vulnerable inspires a man's protection without ever manipulating him for it. But the dangerous one, she knows exactly what she's doing. She knows which buttons to press, which tones to use, which expressions will trigger your instinct to shield her. And once she knows she can pull those strings, she's no longer a partner, she's a puppeteer. And you, brother, are the puppet who thinks he's a protector. And here's the bitter truth, most men refuse to swallow. The more you protect her false innocence, the more she loses respect for you. She doesn't admire the man who saves her from consequences, she despises him. Because deep down she knows she's guilty, she knows she's manipulating, she knows you've seen the cracks, yet you keep choosing the illusion. And a woman cannot respect a man who willingly ignores reality. Respect is built on strength, on clarity, on the refusal to be deceived. If you keep falling for the act, she may stay, but not out of love, not out of loyalty. She stays because you're useful, and when usefulness dries up, she'll discard you without hesitation. That's the cold, brutal end of the innocence game. The only way to break free is to stop protecting what is false, stop shielding her from accountability, stop rushing to defend when she collapses into an act, stop mistaking helplessness for femininity. A truly feminine woman will complement your strength with her loyalty, not drain your strength with her games. She will lean on you when needed, but stand with you when possible. She won't always play innocent to escape responsibility. She'll share it with you. And once you've experienced that kind of partnership, you'll never again settle for a woman who pretends to be fragile as a strategy to keep you enslaved. So remember this, brother. Innocence can be real, but it can also be the sharpest blade hidden behind the softest smile. Women who play innocent to make you protect them are not looking for love, they're looking for power. And the sooner you see that, the sooner you stop being used as a shield for someone else's manipulation. Protect those who are genuinely vulnerable, but never mistake performance for purity. Because once you learn to tell the difference, you'll never again be deceived by trembling lips and wide eyes. You'll stand firm in your frame, see through the mask, and walk away from the trap before it consumes you. And that's the ultimate truth, brother. The strongest man is not the one who saves every innocent woman. The strongest man is the one who protects his own peace first.